There's still a heavy police presence at Maponya Mall in Soweto, where one person was killed and 2 others wounded in what's believed to be violence between taxi operators and e-hailing drivers. These are live visuals from just outside Maponya Mall. It seems an impromptu media briefing has been given by police, I beg your pardon, by the community. We might as well just listen in.
All right, members of the community here at Maponya Mall in Soweto, and the community taking a decision to close Maponya Mall for 7 days. That's exactly what has been communicated by some of the members of the community here, and they say they're closing off the mall because the mall management, they claim that the mall management have been in part responsible for what we've seen happen in the past and yesterday, the violence that has taken place here, where there's been this feud between taxi drivers as well as the e-hailing services. A few moments ago, if we're able to show you, I'll ask my colleague Manzi to show you, as we move towards this particular direction here, you'd see lots of police have been deployed here to Maponya Mall. There is absolutely no movement in terms of work that is taking place here. All the workers in this area have been turned away from their workplaces, and from not far from where we are, the family of the deceased e-hailing driver has also arrived here. Members of the community have been trying to really console. I will just show you a few moments ago on SABC, we showed you the family members who had arrived here at the mall, and several of them have been devastated by what has taken place here. You'd see the family members sitting down there, consoling each other, hoping for a way forward in terms of what will happen next. What will happen next year when the Gauteng provincial government arrives here. Also a bit of a cleanup that has taken place here. You'll see while the family is extremely devastated, this is where the incident itself had taken place. The incident where the car itself had been burnt. Some of the family members, and I will show you, some of the family members have also arrived here as this clean-up of this devastating scene is taking place. A number of e-hailing drivers actually arrived here a bit earlier on this morning, and I will show you as well, if you move back with my colleague Manzi, just in the middle of the road here, those are workers right there. Those are workers from Maponya Mall who have not been able to report for duty today. There's a hope that there would be some kind of a negotiation that will take place when the MEC for Roads does arrive here and Transport arrive here at the Maponya Mall. The expectation was that that was going to happen at about 9 o'clock this morning. In order to try and find a way forward, you'll see some of the remnants as well of what had taken place here. Also, right where you find this police barrier that has been placed here to try and ensure that in this particular area, I mean, these are all of the workers from several of the stores in this area that have not been able to operate here. So we're hearing from the community now that they're shutting down this mall for 7 days. There will be absolutely no operations that will be taking place here. This entire area has come to a standstill. And I'll ask my colleague Manzi to come with me once again, and I'll show you from where we are. In this area where we are at the moment, this is where you'll still see some of the stones that continue to barricade this road. A little bit earlier on, and I'm sure our team will show you those visuals, a little bit earlier on you had a situation where taxi drivers were trying to go past this particular area, but they were told they're not going to operate here. This entire road has been strewn with rocks and stones, so there is absolutely no operations taking place in this particular area. Apart from the large police presence that you're seeing here, there are no other cars, apart from police cars, that are able to move from this area. You also see towards that other direction that there is nothing in this area right here. More stones have been strewn in the middle of the road, and as the community has come out, and they say that they do not want any of the taxi drivers operating in this area. There'd been a bit of a scuffle a little bit earlier on, and that scuffle, indicating that this continuing standoff, be careful there, Kwazi. Apologies there, I'm trying to get my colleague to move away from a huge rock which is placed right here in the middle of the road. So from where we are at this stage, it's quite clear that there's going to be absolutely no movement in terms of work taking place. In terms of, let's check one of these placards that one of the community members is carrying here. Let's just see. Hello, Mama. Sibona le placard le oibambile, Mama. Let's take a look. It says, "One death too many. Let this taxi rank shut down. Sikatele." Basically, they're tired. That's what the community. I beg your pardon. That's what the community is saying at this particular stage. That's what the situation is here at Maponya Mall at this particular time. A large police presence, but no rubber bullets or any confrontation, despite some chats or discussions that had been had a little bit earlier on this morning between police. When you had the rocks, these rocks that you see that were being strewn across the road, police tried to remove them, but once that happened, you had the police tried to come in and remove the rocks from the road, but there'd been a slight confrontation between some of them. As a result, the roads leading into this area here in Pimville in Soweto have been completely shut down. So the situation itself at the moment is still quite volatile. There are police that remain at the entrance of the Maponya Mall itself as well, but absolutely no operations. There are no taxi drivers that are being allowed to operate in this particular area. And to take it to the heart, you'd remember a couple of months ago, we'd seen similar scenes on social media that had taken place. Another vehicle had also been set on fire. So this is not the first incident that has taken place here. I guess questions would also need to be asked to the provincial government about what is being done to find a sustainable answer to the ongoing volatility in this particular area, because e-hailing drivers obviously operating in several of the other areas around Johannesburg, but this particular area has been quite problematic. As I indicated a bit earlier on, there had been some allegations relating to the fact that claims by the community that the reason why the mall management has allowed the situation to take place, claims of perhaps involvement in the taxi industry, hence e-hailing drivers are not allowed into the mall here. But on the part of the community, what they've been saying essentially is that the e-hailing drivers have been an assistance to them, in particular the elderly in this particular area who would come and shop, have heavy groceries that they need to carry, that'd be taken from the front of the mall and taken to the doorstep of their home. So it's been a long-standing battle, a long-standing feud that has been taking place here at Maponya Mall. So at this particular stage, we're told by the community that it's going to be 7 days that this mall is going to be shut down, and for them this situation needs to be resolved as quick as possible. I'm not sure at this stage exactly how far. You'll see the community members, in fact the family, towards that vehicle there. Let's just move towards this area now to see if at all we will be in a position maybe to speak to one of the family members, and this is while I try to see if we're not able to speak to one of them at this particular stage. I know it's incredibly difficult right now, very difficult in the sense that the families at this. I'll just hold on a second for me while I try to approach.
All right, these are live visuals. We're still beaming to you from Maponya Mall. Griselda Lewis is our senior reporter on the ground, monitoring these tensions between taxi operators and e-hailing drivers, which have spilled over really from last night when one person was killed, 2 others were wounded, and we understand 2 vehicles were torched. Is, as Griselda was explaining, a long-standing standoff, so to speak, which has spilled over in the ways in which it has. And incidentally, the anniversary of the opening of this particular mall is next month. You know, this institution, which in some ways was seen as a beacon of entrepreneurial perseverance and black excellence, now having to be the site of such tensions. Let's continue listening in.
If any of them will be able to speak to us at this stage. I'll ask you to stay with us just a little bit. We're trying to also give them a bit of that privacy as the family, as they try to come to terms with what has happened, them even bringing a broom to try and, I guess it's part of culture to pick up the remains at the particular very horrific visuals that we saw yesterday. Incredibly horrific in terms of what had taken place. Horrific in terms of horrific in terms of what had taken place yesterday, because these family members have been indicating that for them at this particular stage, it's a scene that they do not want. They do not want to ever experience, but unfortunately for them at this particular time, they are the ones who would need to come to terms with what has happened here. In terms of a way forward, I think there is going to be, at this particular stage, the family wanting answers in terms of who should take responsibility for the death of their loved ones, because a little bit earlier on they had been embracing each other due to the difficulty, and also trying to ensure that as soon as the authorities get here, they are able to say what the way forward is. But for them, the main concern had been for them to come here and to pick up the remains of their loved ones, because it had been a situation where these families had been informed of what had taken place. So a little bit earlier on, just before they had arrived, since very early this morning, in fact, you would have seen there had been some instances where we would be able to perhaps would be able to speak to some of the family members, but just giving them a little bit of that space at this particular time as they try to come to terms. Very difficult to try and maneuver Ayanda through a scene like this, where a family is obviously concerned and very aggrieved by what has taken place. And for them, they have indicated that they would want some answers, in terms of what has taken place. I think there were additional members of that family that also arrived here a little bit earlier on. And you'd see the devastation as these families try to come to terms with what has happened. All right. Situation at the moment still very tense here at Maponya Mall. You'll see the gates to this mall have been completely shut down. They've been completely shut down, and the expectation is that you will have the MEC who will speak to the media once, of course, those discussions have been concluded.
All right,
in terms of
Griselda,
whatever that way forward is going to be.
Griselda, if you're able to hear us, we're going to stay with your visuals as we anticipate any kind of movement from Maponya Mall. We're still seeing this devastated family trying to make sense, of course, of the unimaginable. You know, a family member going to work, getting that call that, in fact, they're never coming back. We understand, of course, that there is a delicacy in how we handle this matter. So we'll keep a close eye on your visuals throughout the course of the morning as we continue making sense of this moment with a number of other stakeholders.